Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to do an introduction today to my squad on Battlefield 5. I've never seen this done on YouTube before and I think it's a good idea, personally. Maybe it'll take off, who knows. So first of all, I want to talk about Battlefield customization history. Now, over the last few Battlefield games, you've been able to customise your character with different uniforms. You've always been able to customise your weapons to whatever suits you best, for what playing style suits you best. Which they went into quite a lot. Some of the costumes, the skins they're called, some brilliant, I think, in my opinion. Some are quite like weird and out there, you know. And so I like to try and stay true as well with the weapons. I try to, like, so if I'm British, I'll use like the British weapons. If I'm German, I'll use German weapon, that sort of thing. So that's one thing I'm quite keen on. Other people, they use whatever they find best. So I like to try and go through each weapon and, you know, which one suits me best. And I go through a map. When I look at a map, I think which role shall I use. So, like, I'm not going to use assault on every single map because that'd just be a bit boring, wouldn't it? So I go through several different roles and I see which one's best for me. Now, you can have a minimum of 16 characters. You can just have basic across the range, but seeing as Battlefield offers such a big customization menu, why not use it? So we're going to start off with the Brit ones. We have Christian. I'm not going to go too much into the weapons because we'll be there all day. Now, I really like this top because it took me a while to unlock this one. You had to do a series of challenges to get it, which is why I like it so much. I like his hat because it reminds me of the paratroopers, the sort of burgundy maroon beret. I put some haze face paint because I like that on most of my assault guys. And his name is Christian. Next up, we have June, who is my combat medic. The jumper she is sporting, I really like. It's a new upgrade. It was free, of course, as most things are in Battlefield. I love the sort of finish. It was like the proper old sort of British Army World War II jumpers. Although it is in brown, I wish it was in more of an olive green, a khaki finish. But hey, it was free, so I'm not going to moan. Might change her face paint, but I quite like it. It's quite dramatic. You know, it looks like she's been covered in oil and grit and grime. Looks like she's actually been putting a shift in. Well, her trousers look a bit weird halfway up, don't they? Well, that's a bit better. It's like a splash guard or something. And see, she's got the Scottish play Brodie, which is what Christian is wearing mostly. Now, I do have another character for this role, which I use for only one mission, which is really sad of me. I use it for the paratrooping mission on Narvik, and it was a gentleman. I can't remember his name. Was it Jacob? Yes, it's Jacob. He's sporting the same sort of outfit, but I use him specifically for paratrooper missions. So I think that's pretty cool. That's just me. We'll change it back to June, so we're ready for the next role. Beatrice, good name. There we are. And then in the engineer role, we have Frank. I've equipped him with like a paratrooper look, like he's just sort of paratroopered into the sort of the Ardennes forest. Very mean looking, very tough. Love the colour finish. I think they go really well. The two greens, they match quite well. And the colour of his helmet matches really well. I put a bit of blue face paint on him because this class I use quite a lot in Thiel, so he's going to be up in the mountains. So I thought I don't want him in a t-shirt when he's up in the mountains. Do you know what I mean? That'd look stupid. So again, about the authenticity. So I like to keep that true. And then on the last one in British, which I have two roles in again, we have George, who is looking very much like a sniper. He blend in with most environments looking like that. This is a fairly new setup I've gone for. I love the camouflage. I think it was the old school British DPM camouflage. Again, staying true. and he has the gun to go with it. Of course, he has the Lee Enfield. The copper flame face paint I use on most of my snipers because they just go so well. They just blend in my mind. And then the other character I use for this is one of the legends that I unlocked specially. It is Norman Kingsley, who I don't really use anymore. He's good and everything, but I prefer thing. I mean, his outfit's not too bad, as you can see. It's quite more sand base, sort of like the desert, the North Africa campaigns. But he goes well in forests and all that, so I could use him. If he was Assault, I could use him in like Twisted Steel or RR, but I don't. I could use him in Hamada and things like that. Because they'd blend in more there. I mean, George is better suited for a map like Panzer Storm, and Twisted Steel, where he can blend in more. But I've been using him a lot more on Hamada, Al Sandan, and things like that. So, right. So next we go across to the German side, and we start off with Gunther, who is sporting the new Offizier outfits, which I absolutely love. I think they're brilliant. They're very sort of true to the original outfits used by the German soldiers back in the war. So the legs match too. I didn't know what to use as a hat. I thought I could go for the Offizier hat, but it lacks something for me. It's just a bit flat and plain. There's no insignia on there or anything, so yeah, I just thought I'm going to go just with sort of the exposed hair. It almost, to me, is that you just come out of like a tavern or something and you just started fighting because it's all kicking off or something. That's sort of where I want to go with this look. Yeah, I like that. And he's got the STG. I said I'm not going to go into the guns too much, but he's got the STG, and I've equipped it with the chromed finish, so it looks like a fold-in stock, which I think is amazing. So next we have another female. It's a medic. So she is called Eva. She looks again like she'd be patrolling a town or something, like a little village in France, and it all kick off. She's got that long coat in my mind, and from pictures that I've seen of World War II, I think that's like should be pretty fitting. She's got the gas mask canister there just behind her. So I've gone for what's called the Wolf. I did have a Sanitator helmet, which is that one, but I just preferred the standard style helm. I think it just looks a bit more aggressive. So yeah, that is Eva. I also have, who I don't use anymore, Ilse Schattenwolf. It was very sort of menacing looking, and she's pretty good, but I've stopped using the legends as much. I like them, and I you know, I did pay for them, but I just prefer these. They look a bit more true to form, more authentic. And then next we go on to Peter, who is sporting the again a new look of the Feldgrau or field grey, because it's more sort of green than grey. I really like this look because the emblems on the collar, I think that looks really true to form. So yeah, he's looking pretty sharp in his suit, his skin. And then we go over to my sniper. Now I have two roles for this one, two people. I have Helmet, who, as you can see, would go very well in a sort of forest setting, or even in a North Africa setting, because he's quite they blend in quite well with that sort of colour scheme, the sand and whatnot. I've gone with the sort of, you can barely see him sort of look, and you could use the goggles for the oncoming sandstorm. And then the other character I use is Kurt, and he looks just like a bit like my assault guy. He's just come out of a street fight or something. But I don't use that rifle. I use, for this one, I choose the trench carbine, so you can see he looks proper like officer there. So a bit like special forces sniper. I chose the no face paint because I just thought he'd just go again with the sort of rolly, the sort of look that I'm going for. And that is the German side, the Axis forces. Now we start with the Americans. I've got quite a lot with the Americans. I've got quite a lot of roles. But Frank, the first one for the assault, I don't change him. He stays the same. He stays pretty original, pretty true to form. Apart from his rifle, which I do change up a bit sometimes. He's got the Yankee. The only thing I really changed on him is the headgear, the Yankee helmet. And he's like sergeant. I think that is our captain. I think the emblem on the front. I wanted him to sort of like be in command and sort of be the leader. So I've got that helmet and the haze face paint again. I've got on my main guy, Christian. So I like that one a lot. And he's just wearing the standard sort of marine civvies, even though he's in charge. It's his helmet that makes him a bit more important. Right, so next we have Marie, who's my combat medic. She's normally carrying the Jungle Carbine rifle. Just really good rifle, I must admit. And she's wearing the all-weather gear, like head to toe this one. I think she sports that quite well, and I normally use her most on Wake Island as on breakthrough, and I think she blends in well with the surrounding on Wake Island because of the I like to jump in and dive through the bushes quite a lot there, so I think she blends in well. Next character. Oh, hang on, I've got to change to the other one, haven't I? This is only because since the new update, or the Provence update, I now have Duncan, who's wearing all GI clothing. He looks pretty mean. It looks like ready for battle. And he's a medic as well. He's an actually male medic, which I normally have for female, but again I thought I'd mix it up. So next we have James. He's looking pretty rough and ready. He looks like he's been in the islands. Looks like he's had a bit of hell. And then the other one I use in Provence and Twisted Steel and all that now, which is the new update, I use Roy. There's Roy. And he looks like he's more equipped for sort of urban battle and forest battles and sort of island battles, if you know what I mean. That's again just what's going on in my mind. And then the next one we have Edward. These are the ones I use on the Pacific Islands, is probably the better way to explain it. The first three I use on the Pacific Islands, and the ones I changed I use for more of the, sort of the European theatre. And as you can see, he is in the tropical grit setup mainly, which again for a sniper I think suits him pretty well. He could blend into the bushes and surroundings. I was going to change his hat to the tropical grit one, but it's too much like the British one, so I just prefer that one. I think again he's looked like he's parried in from somewhere. Even though they didn't really sort of do airdrops, but they're, again, whatever. And then the other character I use is Thomas. And he's wearing most of the crewman setup, so yeah, again, he'd probably look a bit better on the islands like that, but he could go for urban warfare, dressed a bit like that, you know. So, that is the American forces. Let's finish off with the Japanese forces. And we have Nassau. So again, I've gone for sort of like a commander, like a person in charge of authority look. You know, he's got the boots and the hat. He does look like he'd whip the shit out of you if you messed about. You wouldn't want to take any messing off him. And next we have Akemi. I rarely use Akemi, sadly. In any of the field battles, I just don't really use a medic as Japanese much, but I think she looks pretty good. I've gone for the sort of, just you can see that she's a female. I didn't want like a helmet or anything like that. And then she's got the sort of like the explorer uniform and different type of skin on the legs, and a bit of sort of like face. She looks like she's been in battle and she's put a shift in and she's been fighting. And next we have Shigeru, who was a new character, I believe. And I've got him as my support class. He's got the standard able body helmet, and I do like the martial arms on him, but I don't like the helmet, so I thought I'd just keep that part of the skin. He's got the breakwater, like the cut in the shoes. It makes me think of the old school Japanese samurai. And then last but not least, we have Isamu, who is wearing the full, and he normally rocks the ZH. That one. There we are. and he is full. Like when you're on the islands and you've got him, he is just beast. He blends in very well. I mean, some people would look at this skin and think, oh God, really? But if you're lying down and somebody doesn't spot you, you know, you are laughing. That is such a cool setup. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my squad. I would go into my vehicles, but we could be there for a very long time. And weapons, again, we'd be there for hours. So, yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed.